Guys, I'm out on the parking lot here at my local high school, and I'm actually practicing threshold braking. Guys, my name is Rick, and this is the HD Vibe channel. In today's video, I'm going to show you what I'm doing to practice and get ready for the spring riding season by really taking a skill that we really need to practice before we get out on the road, and that is threshold braking. So let's get into all that right after this. So that's right, guys, I am practicing threshold braking. So what does threshold braking really mean? So essentially what threshold braking means is using both your front and your rear brake all at the same time to come to the quickest stop that you can without skidding your tires. And this is really critical when you're doing that, say, emergency stop, say a car pulls out in front of you. And so what I'm going to be doing is practicing that. But before I get into it, I'm going to show you what I've got set up here on the range, out in the parking lot, to get me ready for and practice that threshold braking. And you guys can do this too. You don't even necessarily need any cones, but a few cones will make this all the much easier. So let me move back here and I'll show you how I got this set up. All right, guys, so the setup on this is pretty simple. So I've got the bike here, but essentially I've got these first set of cue cones. I'm going to come up to these cones at about 20 miles an hour. And then as soon as my front tire crosses this imaginary line between these cones, I'm going to begin threshold braking. And I'm approaching this at 20 miles an hour, and these are set about 6 feet apart. And then from these cones to this next set of cones right here, that is about 20 feet. So going back to these cones, if I can properly threshold brake, I should be able to stop when I start here. The bike should be about 15 feet if I'm stopping appropriately and using both brakes to that point of not skidding. So just a little bit short of this second set of cones. So then when I get to that stop point, I'm going to come to a complete stop and I'm going to downshift if I'm in second gear and get into first gear. So that's going to be the first part of this exercise. So I'm going to do that a couple of times so that I can get my threshold braking down. Again, every time I'm going to be coming up to this first set of cones at 20 miles an hour, I will immediately begin to apply both brakes and hopefully come to a stop somewhere around in this area. And also at the same time, I'm downshifting, pulling that clutch in if I happen to get up into second gear. Then after I do that a few times, I'm going to add a second part to this. So again, coming up to here 20 miles an hour, I begin my stopping process right here at this first set of cue cones. Hopefully we get stopped up here about 15 feet up this way. Again, downshifting into first gear, and then immediately once I stop, begin to go either right or left. And what I've got another 15 feet set up here is a line of cones, and that would be as if you came into traffic and there's traffic stopped in front of you, but you get to that stop and there's a car coming up behind you because you check your mirrors and you immediately got to escape and get out of the way. So what this simulates is I've got a path to the right, I've got a path to the left. So I'm going to come up here and I'm going to pick which is my best path using my C strategy. Again, search, evaluate, and execute. I'm going to make a sharp turn to the right or the left, and I'm going to come up here and I'm going to try to stay in this gate here. And again, this is about 5 or 6 feet apart, which would represent maybe the shoulder of the road on either side if you are in a one-lane road. So that's what we're going to do. So I'm going to give you a few runs here, see how it goes. Again, we're going to just do the first part, just stopping, and see how well I can do at that. And then we'll follow that up with part 2 of doing that and then evading because I got traffic coming back behind me. Guys, if you want to alleviate the fear of dropping your bike and put some protection on your bike, I suggest you go check out motorcycledropguards.com. You get drop guards for your front crash guards, your saddlebag guards, and a protection for your primary cover. Again, check out motorcycledropguards.com. I will have a link down in the description, as well as use the code HDVIBE2024 to save 30% off. All right, guys, so I am set up. I'm actually going to try to get into second gear. We'll see if I can actually do this. If not, I may have to move back just a little bit. But I'm probably about 75 feet from that first set of cue cones. So let's do a first run here and see how I do on threshold braking, again at 20 miles per hour. Okay, I'm at 20 and stop. So pretty good. I could have kept squeezing that front brake and pressing that rear brake just a little bit harder. So I'm going to do that again, and we'll do this a couple times so you guys can see how I progress. But I did still stop probably within about 15 to 17 feet. Let's come down here. We'll do this again. I'm going to actually come back a little bit farther here. All right, run number 2. We'll do this again at getting up to 20 miles an hour, and I'm probably about 80 or 90 feet out now. We'll try to get up in the second gear so that we have to experience that downshift. At the Q cones and stop, squeezing, and I could have done that a little smoother. Ideally, you don't want to come off with that right foot. You want to come down just with that left foot nice and smooth. So I'm going to do that again. And see if I can do that just a little bit better. So this time I'm going to start probably 125 to 130 feet out, so get a little bit more time in second gear, get up to 20 miles an hour. There we are, nice and steady, and stop, nice and smooth. Down shifted into first gear, left foot went down, right foot stayed on the rear brake to continue that threshold braking. Again, probably 130, 150 feet away. I'm going to get up into second gear. The other thing I want to also stress here that I did earlier is that you do want to keep those handlebars nice and squared up when you get into that stopping lane. I'm at 20 miles an hour and stop. Downshift and squeeze. So that was pretty good. If I look at this, yeah, probably at about 15 feet, which is about where you should stop if you are at that 20 miles an hour. So now that I've gotten that, I'm going to practice that a little bit more off camera, but what we're going to do now is actually do part 2 of this, which I'm going to do the same thing, coming up in 20 miles an hour, begin stopping at the first set of Q cones. As soon as I get stopped, then I'm going to look in my rear view mirror and I'm going to see there's a car coming back from behind me and I need to get out of the way. But I've got a barrier in front of me, so I've got a lane to the right or a lane to the left. I'm going to decide which way I'm going to go and get out of the way to evade that traffic and not get hit from the rear. So like I did before, I'm about 140, 150 feet out. I'm going to get up into second gear, cruise in at about 20 miles an hour, right there, and stop, downshift. Oh, car's coming, get out of the way. Okay, on this one, I'm going to give you a little bit of a different view, a little bit lower, so you can see what the bike is doing from a little bit lower angle. So again, we'll do the same thing here. We'll start off with first gear, we'll get up to second gear, get up to 20 miles an hour, and begin stopping at the first set of Q cones. Now, nice smooth stop, evade to the right, and we are safe. Give this another run from the low angle here. Second gear, 20 miles an hour, nice smooth stop, perfect stop. Oh! Nice smooth stop, and we're going to evade to the left and get out of the way. One more time from the low angle here. Second gear, 20 miles an hour. Stop, nice smooth stop, evade to the right, and we are clear. All right guys, so that is emergency threshold braking. Essentially, again, it's squeezing that clutch, squeezing that front brake, pressing on that rear brake, all at the same time, and continue to squeeze, 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 press, 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 and downshifting all at the same time, so you come to the quickest complete stop. So that's threshold braking in a nutshell. Again, 2 different ways to practice it. Get out in the parking lot and maybe do it at 20 miles an hour, maybe increase it to 30, maybe 40, because if you think about it, if you're out on the road, if you're on a state highway, you're probably going 45 to 50 miles an hour, and if something crosses your path, you have to emergency brake. That's great practice. If you don't practice this and get that muscle memory, you could have a not so great result. So guys, if you got some value out of this video, please give it a thumbs up. I'd really appreciate it. Also consider sharing this with your friends so that like-minded individuals who might want to see how you do emergency threshold braking can see this exercise and can practice out in the parking lot. Doesn't have to be a fancy range. I'm here at my local high school. I've just got a few cones. You don't even necessarily need cones, but that is helpful. Also, consider subscribing to the channel. Hit that button right down here. That really helps out the channel. Also, when you do subscribe, leave a comment down below saying I subscribe so I can personally reach out and thank you for supporting the channel. Also, don't forget to hit the bell icon and select all so that you do get notified every time I do put out new content. I have over 200 videos on tips, tricks, rides, reviews, and installs on the Harley Davidson touring motorcycles, as well as videos like this to show you some skills that you can practice that will translate to out on the road to keep you safe and build that muscle memory in case that emergency situation comes up. So guys, with that, I want to leave you with this thought. Life is short. Get out and ride the bike. Thanks for stopping by, and we'll see you on the next one. Bye now.